Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Alpha Omega Occasionally. You're probably wondering why this is the second video, not in a row, but the second video that I've done outside 7-Eleven, because this kind of lends itself to the argument that I'm putting forward in this video, and that is the question: is Thailand the most xenophobic country in the world? Well, I'll answer that question before I begin. Obviously not. Look, we won't go into detail on the other countries, but I can tell you this much: Thailand is a pretty xenophobic country. And one of the reasons I'm standing outside 7-Eleven here is to prove that point. You cannot work in 7-Eleven unless you're Thai. Simple as that. It doesn't matter. You won't be able to work in 7-Eleven unless you're Thai. You can't drive a taxi unless you're Thai. You can't work in a bar unless you're Thai. But you say to me, well, there's plenty of expats that own bars. Yes, they do, but they can't open a bottle of beer. They can't pour a beer because that's reserved for Thais. So is Thailand a xenophobic country? Of course it is. I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it is. There's oodles of examples of that. All you got to do is come here and try to find a job. You can only do a job that a Thai person cannot do. There's no you can't work in a bank unless you're Thai. You can't work in McDonald's unless you're Thai. But see, these kind of things sort of agitate me. It's like a stone in my shoe, because if a Thai person goes to my country, they can work at McDonald's, they can work in a bank, they can do anything an Irish person can do, as long as they fulfill the criteria. But there are no criteria that you can fill to work in a bank in Thailand unless you're Thai. Simple as that. Now, you can look at other countries that are even more xenophobic, like Japan. Japan is a completely xenophobic country. But what are the consequences of xenophobia? The consequences of xenophobia are catastrophic. Stay tuned.
Hello there.
This is five-star chicken behind me here. You can't work there unless you're Thai. But you see, as I was saying, what are the consequences of xenophobia? I'll tell you what one of the consequences of xenophobia is, and it's been borne out in Japan as we speak, and it's been borne out here in Thailand as we speak. It's to do with population. Today, 2023, September 2023, the population in Japan stands at about 126 million, give or take. That's a slight decrease on a few years ago. The statistics are up on screen there. The projected population of Japan, I think is by 2050, will be a decrease of 20 million. 20 million, and Thailand is the same. We're at about, I say we, and I'm trying to include myself as the collective we, but unfortunately, because it's a xenophobic country, I can't include myself as that collective we. But for the sake of convenience, let's do it. So we here in Thailand have a population of 70 million, give or take, September 2023. I won't say September 2050, let's not be that specific, but by September 2050, that population is set to decrease by the same 20 million, a higher percentage of that of Japan, because Japan has a higher population. How about that? 20 million? And why? It's because of xenophobia. European countries are not immune to this population decrease, for whatever the reasons are. I'm not going to go into the absolute ins and outs of it, but they will not experience a population decline like that of East Asia, because they opened the door for immigration. As stated before, you can work at McDonald's in Berlin if you come from Nicaragua. You can work in a bank in Brussels if you come from Tokyo, as long as you speak Flemish or French or whatever it is they want you to speak. So therefore, European countries are not going to see the same decline in population. But East Asian countries, namely Japan and China, because they're the ones we're talking about, will see this dramatic decrease in population as a direct result of xenophobia. So I always say there's no right or wrong generally speaking, in nature, but Is there a right and wrong when it comes to xenophobia? Well, it's relative. It's subjective. It depends. I'm not saying it is wrong. It's just a policy. Why do they have this xenophobic attitude? There's various reasons that I won't go into. My own theory, I won't go into that in this video, but I will say these are the consequences, or this will be the consequence of xenophobia. And it is like a stone in my shoe. I would like to work. Would I like to work in 5-star chicken? Well, maybe if I was 20 and I came to Thailand and I was looking to experience the real deal. Yes, I would probably enjoy the prospect of working in 7-Eleven. I would probably, and you get great experience in there because it's a super place for a young Thai person to work. They get great experience, and I'd like to work here as well. But you can't, because you're not allowed. You can look at any street in Thailand, or Pattaya, or Phuket. All the girls that work in all of the bars are Thai. And you're probably going to say to me, there's some Russian girls as well, but we're not going to go into that in this video because it's part of something else. But generally speaking, well, not generally speaking, almost universally speaking, anywhere you go, any street, any back street, any industry, any company, all the people employed and working happily along are Thai, because Thailand is a xenophobic country. And you know, you can look to the West. Why is the West, or why was the West, probably the best term because China is kind of taken over in that regard, but why was the West so successful? And with all the technology has come from the West, more or less. The internet, television, radio, I could go on and on, antibiotics, I could go on and on and on. Why? Because we embraced immigration. And we benefited from this huge gene pool, let's say, of different cultures that was able to provide this environment where nations and communities could benefit. But you see, I always give this argument. If I go into hospital in Thailand with a headache of undetermined origin, let's say I think it's a brain tumour, God forbid, I can only rely on the expertise of Thai doctors. Not that there's anything wrong with that, absolutely not. But if I go in to an equivalent hospital in Dublin or Stockholm or Paris, I can rely on the expertise of doctors from all over the world and the experience that follows that. So, to answer the question, is xenophobia wrong? Well, as I said before, it's subjective, but at the end of the day, where would you rather be? Would you rather be in a non-xenophobic country or a xenophobic country? Well, I think I enjoy living here, but in order to live here, you've got to adapt to the xenophobic culture. This is not just my opinion. I've provided the statistics on the screen as the consequences of xenophobia. You can let me know what you think. But at the end of the day, there is no country in the world that is entirely non-xenophobic. There's a degree of xenophobia in every country, and I suppose it's human nature. This is my country, I should have some more entitlement than you because you're coming from another country. I suppose. I mean, unless you're born in the United States, you can't become the president of the United States. So therefore, there's a degree of xenophobia. You might say, oh, that's not xenophobia. But it is. It's a degree of xenophobia. So it's basically the degree of xenophobia we're looking at. So the answer to the question, is Thailand the most xenophobic country in the world? No, it's not. But it's pretty close, if you ask me. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section to the argument I put forward here, and let me know your experience. Let me know of another country you may have visited that you think is in the same kind of category. But whatever you do, guys, make sure you click that like button, click the share button, click the subscribe button. Do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.